Welcome back to Both Sides of the Barricade. We have a very, very special guest this week, Miss Olivia O'Brien. She's a songwriter who also sings. She's signed to Island Records, and her most recent single, Now, came out in September. Her debut album, Wasn't Even Real, came out last year, and she has released 2 micro mixtapes since then, one featuring the instant classic Jocelyn. She's featured on The Zach Sang Show, Billboard Wants to Watch, Coupe de Maine, and many more. She's amazing. Olivia, is there anything you'd like to say before we get started?
I think you got it all, and you made me sound way cooler than I am. So thank you.
Well, I try. So I guess we'll start with how we met. Would you like to tell the story?
So we met from your friend Ian, who I met in 2017 when I was opening for Jack and Jack. And we ended up following each other on social media. And I said that I needed someone to make a tattoo for me of my birth chart. And he was like, my friend Jordan she's really good at art and she can draw something up for you and you can get tattooed. And I was like, amazing. So then I literally, or is it on this arm? I think, yeah. So
Yes.
this is you literally drew a tattoo.
Every time I see it, I'm like, ah.
So amazing. Thank you so much. You literally, it's one of my favorite tattoos. I never see it too because it's on the back of my arm. So whenever I take a photo from the back, I'm like, oh my God, I love that tattoo. But yeah, so it's a pretty fun story. And then you guys came to my show in
Philly, right?
2019, Philly.
Yeah.
And then also when I played that little festival, what was it called?
All Things Go.
Yeah.
Yes. That was a fun day too. It was raining, but it was a fun day.
It was
But yeah,
raining.
the thing is with Ian, he didn't tell me that he was gonna send my name over to you for the tattoo. He was just like, I think he told me after the fact, but he was like, oh, I think I sent your name over to Olivia. And I was like, oh, okay, not thinking much of it. And then you messaged me and I was like, oh my God, because I had never designed anything tattoo wise for people and to do it for someone like you, where I was like, oh my God, I'm a fan of her and her music. It was just crazy. And I remember you being like, let me pay you for this. And I was like, no, literally, I'll take a ticket to the show. I'm just a fan. But it was so cool. And now whenever I see you post a picture where I can see it, I'm like, oh my God, I drew that. It's so crazy. Every time I see it, it's awesome. And then, yeah, when we met at your actual show, I remember thinking you were so down to earth and cool, because I think on social media, people are intimidated because you look cool and you just you're an Instagram baddie almost. And so you were intimidating, but then meeting you in person, I was just like, oh my God, she's the coolest. You were so nice and so down to earth and cool. So yeah, we love Olivia in this house. So yeah, that being said, I mean, obviously we're a special case, Ian and I, but what would you say your relationship is like with your fans generally?
I like to I feel like I treat my fans like my friends, which is an amazing thing, but also sometimes I think because for example, I had the second account, Olivia O'Brien, and I got really personal in there and I was in a lot of group chats and I would try to talk to everyone, which I loved. And I kind of, not since I've deactivated the account, I haven't been able to communicate with everyone the same way and the same amount that I used to. And it's really sad, but I just felt like I was almost being too personal on that account and too letting people in a little bit too much, because then definitely not everyone, for most people were super amazing about it, but there was just a few times and instances and people that just, I feel just assumed too much about me because they felt like they almost knew me too well,
Yeah.
but they actually didn't. And it just gave me a lot of anxiety, so I ended up deactivating the account. But whenever I do talk to my fans, and it was none of my fan accounts or anyone like that ever did anything. It was just random people. So yeah, but whenever I do talk to my fans still, I feel like I always kind of treat them as my friends, and I talk to them how I would talk to my best friends, because they have my same sense of humor and
Yeah,
they understand my sarcasm, and they are able to roast me right back all the time. So it's kind of funny.
yeah.
But
No, I miss that account, Olivia O'Brien. That was such a funny name too. We miss her.
it
R.I.P.
actually, the name started because someone made a hate account called Olivia O'Brien, but they spelled it Cryin. And I was like, oh my God, that's literally the best thing ever. Because my friend Trevi, she was the first person that ever called me Olivia O'Brien. Or she posted a story one time. She was like, I'm Olivia O'Brien right now. I was listening to my song. And so I kind of like, that was my first ever hearing that name. And then someone made a hate account and called it Olivia O'Crying. And I was, because they were like, oh, she is always crying about something and blah, 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 like trying to make it a bad thing. And I was like, that's not a bad thing. I love that name. Like, that's the most amazing thing I've ever heard. So then I just spelled it differently and made my own account. And then they like deleted their account because they were whatever. It was so stupid. So, yeah. I kind of turned a bad thing into a good thing. But I miss that account.
Yeah. So yeah, now I want to know a little bit about like how you grew up around music and what your relationship was like with music growing up, and how you got discovered and that kind of thing. But we'll start out with like your influences as an artist.
Like influences from when I grew up or influences from whenever?
When you grew up, I guess. Yeah.
I definitely was a big Beyonce stan from the moment I first heard any Beyonce song ever. My mom, one of the first albums that I like vividly remember, like listening to the CD of in the car and like having the CD in my car, was I Am Sasha Fierce. That was like, ugh, if I were a boy, I was like, this is the most amazing lyrical masterpiece I've ever heard in my life, which it still is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think definitely Beyonce, definitely Alicia Keys, Amy Winehouse, a lot of strong female influences. India Ari was another one. My mom was always playing India Ari because she's just like is female empowerment, like all of her songs, her song video, like when oh my god, I can't talk today. When my mom came to visit me like a couple years ago, I remember we were driving down Mulholland and I played video and my mom started crying and she was like, I always played this song for you growing up. I was like, yeah, that's why I'm playing it right now. So I get my trait of crying all the time from my mom.
I love that. I feel like I don't know. I feel like I cry a lot, but my parents don't. My dad's a Cancer, but he's not like emotional like that. He gets like he'll drink wine and then like get emotional about music. Like he'll be watching like concerts on YouTube and be like, "Oh, the song reminds me of you guys." Like, and then he'll get emotional.
That's like my sister's Cancer, but she's not outwardly emotional either. She's like, but she is like deep down. Cancers are like the crabs of the zodiac. That's their like sign, or their animal or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like they have a hard shell, but they're soft on the inside. That's how I say my sister is. She's like the crab.
No, that's definitely my dad too, because like he'll only get like that. Like I said, like I think he cried. Literally, like he drank wine and then cried to like the Bruce on Broadway like trailer, like the Bruce Springsteen like Broadway show. He like cried during the trailer. He's gonna be so mad that I shared that. Whatever. So, so what was your first concert then? When you were growing up?
Concert. Well, I went to this like I don't know if you consider it a music festival. It was like a concert for like it was a bunch of random artists when I was like 7. That was the first like concert I went to. I don't even remember where it was. All I remember is that it was like I saw like Cat Power and I think like Jack Johnson. It was like a bunch of random people and Death Cab for Cutie. I was like, oh my god, I'm at a concert. I was obsessed. And then my first like actual concert that I made my parents buy me tickets to was the Jonas Brothers.
Yeah. Yeah, my friend Allie that I just had on, I think the Jonas Brothers were her first concert too. And she's like, I've seen them like 20 times. And I'm like over the like year. And I'm like, oh my god, like she was a stan. So that's fair.
Oh, I was obsessed. I found my old like t-shirt I got at that concert the other day and I was like, this would be so cute. It fit me when I was 7, but it's like now it would be like a baby tee on me, you know?
me. Oh my god, me if I still had my like Miley Cyrus Best of Both Worlds t-shirt, but I don't. But yeah, Jonas Brother. Who was your favorite Jonas Brother?
Joe. Of course.
Me too.
Look at me and just know I'm a Joe girl.
Yeah, I was the same. And I wasn't even like, I don't even know. I kind of went through phases. I was like, I had my One Direction phase. I had my Justin Bieber phase, but none of them like stuck, you know?
Oh, my One Direction phase stuck.
Oh, well, I mean, like Harry now, I'm like, yeah. But like before then, it was like, I think I was a Zayn girl when I was a kid.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I could see that for you.
Yeah. Well, I loved his hair. Yeah, I loved his hair. Now Harry has better hair, but okay, so then how did you get discovered and signed? I know this is a fun story that you've probably told a million times, so you don't have to like go into detail, but
basically I was like 14 and in high school, and I decided I wanted to post covers on SoundCloud of me. Like literally, they were like so shitty. Like it was back when SoundCloud, you could record from the app. I don't even know how people uploaded stuff back then. Well, I also wasn't very tech savvy, but like from what I knew, you could pretty much only like record stuff, like at least on your phone. And I had like the iPhone 4, and I would press record and then press stop and then post it. You couldn't even like edit it at all. So as you can probably guess, it sounded like garbage, the quality and stuff. But and I would mess up a chord kind of, and if the rest of it was good, I'd be like, oh, it's fine, nobody's gonna notice. So I posted those like stupid covers for a while, and then I'd always written my own songs, but I never felt comfortable enough to post them. And when I remember one time I did post a couple of songs, and in like a school bus on a school field trip, we were coming back and these boys were playing my songs in the back of the bus and like making fun of me. And I went home immediately and deleted all of them, and I never posted another one.
Oh
Um,
no.
so yeah, it was not, it's not the coolest thing in the world in high school to post covers. I don't think anyone thought I was cool for that. They thought I was very not cool, but I kept doing it because I liked it and it was fun for me, and it was like a cool release after school. And then I did a cover of Nash. He had one song out at the time, and he was opening for Black Bear, and I was a really big Black Bear fan, and I looked up who was opening on the tour because I wanted to go. So I found him, and he had one song, and I was like, I love this song. I did a cover of it. And I guess I was the first person to do a cover of it because he saw it and he was like, oh my God, this is so amazing. Like someone covered my song. And then he ended up giving me tickets to come to their San Francisco show. And I went, and I thought I was so cool. I was on the guest list. I was like, yeah, guest list. And
Literally me.
I felt so cool. I was like, oh my God. And then he came out after his set and was like, do you have any original songs? And I was like, actually, I do. I'm a little bit of a songwriter. So I sent him I Hate You, I Love You. And he was like, I want to produce a song for you. Let's do it. And so I came down to LA with my dad. I'm from Napa, so it's like a 5.5-hour drive. And, or maybe 6. My dad drives really fast, so it was like 5.5. And we stayed in Hollywood, and I went to Nash's house, and we recorded the song in his backyard. And I didn't even know he was going to put a verse on it at first. And he sent it back to me all produced and with his little verse. And I was like, oh my God, I have a song. This is crazy. And then we put it on SoundCloud. And then it just started going and doing things. And so then we put it on Spotify and Apple Music and everything else. And then it just blew up, and we didn't have anyone pushing it at first. We had like, it was literally, we just put it out.
Yeah.
But it helped a lot. Actually, we had a lot of like, there was a lot of like social media kids that posted it and stuff. And that's kind of how it blew up. Like I remember Andrea Russet posted on her like Snapchat story. And then eventually like Kylie posted it on her Snapchat story. It was like this whole thing. It was so crazy. And then from that, like labels started reaching out, and the song ended up being signed to Atlantic because Nash got signed to Atlantic. So I have like that song signed to Atlantic, and then everything else is with my label, which is Island. And they reached out to me and a bunch of other labels, and I got a lawyer and managers and everything. It just kind of happened really fast after the one song. And then I was like, oh, I guess I'm going to make music now. And this is what I'm going to do with my life. So
yeah.
Pretty
you were in high school when that happened. Like, that's crazy to me. I didn't know what I was doing at all in high school. So
I didn't know what I was doing either. Don't you worry. I can't even believe that I had people like watching me when I was that age, because I was so embarrassing. Like I even in a couple years from now, I'm probably gonna look back at me now and be like, wow, you are so embarrassing.
I think about that all the time. I was literally going through my like tweets today, and I'm like, delete. Like, these are so annoying. Like, you were onto something, deleting Twitter. Like,
I deleted also. I like used some app where you could delete all of your old tweets, because I knew that all of my old tweets are so like embarrassing. I had Harry Styles fan account tweets. Yeah. My Twitter was originally my first, like my literal verified Twitter that I have right now was originally at I love Harry 33. Oh my God. I literally, people are
I love that though. Like, that's so.
This is the first time that I think I've said that publicly, but yeah, I was a Harry Styles fan Twitter account.
And that's valid, especially now, like, king. I wish I knew like my old, like I didn't have like Instagram and Twitter until I was like in high school, weirdly. Like I was a Tumblr kid. Like, so I wish I remembered my like Tumblr usernames. They were all probably like Lana related. Like it was always something like that, but I can definitely relate. I'm glad that I wasn't allowed to have an Instagram like at the time. I definitely had a Lana fan account at one point though. I think
Yeah.
someone asked me that on the podcast, but yeah, I definitely had it. And I remember the username, but I won't say it because it's so cringy. But yeah, anyway, so that was how many years ago now? Like you getting signed?
I'm about to turn 21, so like 5 years
Wow.
ago. I got signed when the song came out when I was 15, and I got signed I think when I was 16. So yeah, almost 5 years ago. Wow, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
that is crazy. So how would you describe where you are now in your career then?
I don't know. I feel like because of the pandemic and everything, things have really like not gone the way that they were supposed to this year. Like I was supposed to play Coachella. I was supposed to finish out my second headline tour, which was like the biggest shows I've ever played. And yeah, so I feel like a lot of things are kind of paused right now, and I'm trying to not let it like get to me because obviously I'm still doing things. I'm still writing. I'm still able to release music, which is one of the best parts of what I do. But I do miss live shows, and like it's just such an easy way to like. I mean, it's not easy, but it's one of the like best ways to like reach new audiences and just to
Yeah.
go and meet people and tour and yeah, so I'm really missing that, and it's kind of hitting me just as the year as time keeps passing and things are still the way they are. I just more and more it just keeps hitting me like, when am I gonna get back out there? When am I gonna get back out there? So
Yeah, I feel the same way. And I was literally going to then bring up like Coachella because that made me so sad.
I know.
I remember you telling me you were playing. I got so excited. And that was before like the lineup came out. And then when the lineup came out, I was like, oh my God, this is like a dream lineup. So I was gonna go. Like I was going this year. And it was ripped so cruelly from my hands and yours too, because I can imagine it was extremely upsetting to like find
And
out.
I also didn't go last year because I was on tour and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
it's gonna be perfect because next year I'm gonna play, so it's gonna be all worth it.
Yeah. Now what? Dude, like the day that even just the day you were playing would have been enough. I was like, oh, Lana, Marina, FK, Twigs, Olivia, and then Frank Ocean. Like,
I know.
sign me up. That was one day.
I know. I'm so sad.
Yeah, they sent out like a survey for Coachella where they were like, oh, who do you think should play? I'm like, don't change a thing. Do not change a thing about the lineup you had. And I know they're gonna have to, but it makes me
I
so
know, I know. I know the lineup was so good. I was so excited.
I'm just hoping.
But, you
Yeah.
know, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be
Yeah.
all right. And there are way worse problems in the world right now.
Oh
People
yeah.
are going through a lot of things. So
Oh
I've tried to like look at the positive side of it because like obviously like in my world it's a really sad thing, but in the grand scheme of life, I'm gonna be just fine. So
yeah.
it's all
And
right.
I think when it happened, it was more like a, oh, we still thought it was only gonna be like a month. And
Yeah, we were like, oh, it's gonna happen in October. Like
yeah,
everything's
yeah.
fine.
Now it's like, oh, well, that's like the last thing I should be worrying about. But
It's
yeah,
kind of like 2023.
yeah,
Can't wait.
literally, literally. Ah, no words. But yeah, so in terms of quarantine then in your daily life, like how has that changed? Because I mean, like you live in LA and like people I'm sure you've seen like are still out like partying and doing all these things and not really abiding. I don't know what like the rules are over there, but how has that been for you? Just like daily life, how has it changed?
Thankfully, like none of my super close friends have gotten sick or anything. So I've been kind of like removed from like, I don't know, I feel like I'm in like a little safe bubble. And
Yeah.
I live with my friends. So it's like I'm not like alone and I see my friends. And actually I've been at my friend Stas's house like every day because she just broke her ankle in 3 places and literally can't walk. So I'm so lucky enough that I get to see my friends and I don't feel like I mean my life is infinitely changed, but like I don't like we can't go to the club. Not that that was like such an amazing part of my life, but it was
Yeah.
something that I like on the weekends. But I think I'm just so used to the way that life is now, and like we can still like there's like restaurants down the street that I can walk to and like go and sit and like with my friends that I live with and like have food.
Yeah.
So it's like I can still like do some things and I can still go to Pilates. They do it outside now. They separate them by 6 feet. It's great. So like like I'm just it's at least better than it was in like March, which is crazy because they're more lax now with things, even though there's more cases, which I don't understand.
I know.
I think we're gonna go back into lockdown most likely, which I'm not mad about because whatever. I'm just like
At this
I'll
point,
do
I'm
whatever.
like,
Yeah.
I'd almost rather lock down and then like hopefully things get better. Like I'd rather
I'm
just
just,
stay at
yeah.
home than.
I'm just worried about like if we do lock down again, then people are like the people that, because last time it happened, like all these people were like, I will not wear a mask. This is oppression. And they like in Orange County that was happening, which is like so
Wow.
close to me. So I'm like, if people don't listen to it, like if there are orders, stay-at-home orders, we have to listen to it in order for it to be effective. And I feel like a lot of people are just gonna like protest it and be like, no, I'm not doing that, which is then it's not gonna work. So
Yeah, and I'm in New Jersey. I mean, things are getting bad here too. Like I have a feeling we'll get locked down, but and here wearing a mask isn't that much of like a statement. Like, but I've definitely like my friends who live in North Carolina or like down south are like, no, people are not wearing masks. I'm like,
yeah,
we're just
no,
never
it's
getting rid
crazy.
of it. We're never getting rid of it.
See, that's how I feel. That's why I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what the right, because I mean, obviously I'm not a scientist, so I don't know what the right way to go about this is. I'm like, is it better to have stay-at-home orders until it's gone? Or is it better to like go back to semi-normal life so that people like the economy, like, I don't know what the right thing
Yeah.
is to do for anything. So I don't even know. I'm like, I'll do whatever they tell me to do, but
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say like, we need to do this, because I don't know how things are gonna go. And people all have their different opinions and their different views. And I think that's why things aren't going well here, because
There's too many
there's
people.
so much, yeah, there's too many people, too many different opinions, and so much like it's become such a political thing when it shouldn't be. It's like, why is it a political thing to wear a mask? Like, it's just to protect other people.
Yeah.
It's
Uh,
not.
the struggles. Even like what are we? Like month 9? I don't even know. Like, and we're still having issues like this. I'm like, guys, this is life now. You're gonna have to accept it. This is life. Okay. So assuming that all goes away in the next 5 years, hopefully, like, where do you see yourself going as an artist after all of this is over? After like at least shows can come back, you can like go to sessions in person again. Like, where do you see yourself going first, like, or doing first?
Well, I've actually been able to do a couple in-person sessions. Everyone just has to get tested before, and then they're very few and far between. So it's like I'm mainly at home, and a lot of times I'll have one set up and then like someone will cancel or something. Like, it's just everything. Like, I have had like maybe like 3-4 in-person sessions in LA, like in the past few months. So it's definitely not what I used to be doing. But I'm happy that we can, like, have some kind of semblance of normal work. So yeah, I don't know. I honestly try not to think too hard about it, just because we're so unsure about everything and we don't know when shows will come back. But I feel like Europe will probably be ready for tours before the US is. So hopefully I'll be able to go do a Europe tour, which I've never done before. So
Yeah.
that's the bright side of things, that I might be able to do that. And that sounds like a dream to me, especially because you can get like double-decker tour buses, which I'm really excited about. It's like a stupid thing to be
That'd be
excited
so
about.
fun.
But yeah.
But no, that sounds exciting. Just being able to travel again is going to be so, like, I mean, I think it'll take some getting used to. At least for me, I know I'm going to be like, oh, this is weird. Like, should I be doing this? But I think
Yeah.
once things gradually get back to normal, it'll feel like really exciting to be doing things again. So
Yeah. So there's apparently the vaccine is like gonna happen,
yeah,
thankfully. So I'm kind of having a little bit of hope, because if people are getting vaccinated, then it's like I won't be as scared to go places and see
yeah,
people, and like, because I'm like, even in 2 years from now, like, just everything, our perspective of being around other people has changed so much that, like, even in 2 years, when even if it's mostly gone, like, being in large crowds is going to feel weird. It's going to feel so weird to like be around people that don't have masks on, and like be like, it's going to be scary.
I know. Yeah.
So
Going to like a festival, I'm like, whoa, that like the idea sounds foreign to me now. Like to be even like in a
right?
without masks.
It's
I literally watch shows now and I'm like, or movies, and I'm like, they're not wearing masks. Like, even though it was filmed.
I'll watch something from like the 80s and I'm like, oh, they're going into a restaurant without a mask? And then I'm like, wait, this is literally like, this wasn't happening back then.
It's so
It's
weird.
crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
how life has changed. Oh my god. So weird. Oh, so I have some fan questions for you. Um, Shout out to Twitter fan accounts because they really pulled through and gave me some good questions. Um, so the first one is, what have you learned from Nash and Hate You Love You that you still use today?
Um, I mean, that song, sometimes when I'm like, I get down on myself about just like if I have a writer's block or I don't know what I'm doing, or like a lot of times if I can only write sad songs, I'll be kind of down on myself because I'm like, I have to write like pop songs. But then I'm like, my biggest song was something that nobody thought ever would get big because it's literally like the most minimal production and the most sad lyrics ever. And yet it was a huge hit.
Mhm.
So I kind of, that it kind of gives me the like peace of mind of like, okay, I can do the sad things and I can kind of do whatever I want. And like, I wrote that song, I composed that song, and I could do it again. um and I don't have to follow any kind of protocol or like formula for a song, because that follows absolutely no formula, and it was my most successful song. So I think it always kind of gives me that kind of inspiration. So
That's nice. I feel like it would be a TikTok song, like it would get popular if it was.
oh, it was huge on Musically. That's another
Oh
thing that blew it
yeah,
up. Yeah.
there you go. It was one of the original
Mhm.
TikTok hits. Oh, this next one. How are you doing mentally?
I'm actually doing pretty good, but I think it's all because I am going to therapy weekly, which I used to hate therapy. My mom like forced me to go as a child, and it just traumatized me because I just didn't want to talk to them, and I never fully utilized the experience of therapy because I didn't want to be there. I think it only works if you want to go, if you're the one who wants to go and you want
Yeah.
to help yourself. And I started going a few months ago because I was like, I just want to go to therapy. I want to see if it'll work this time, if I actually want to go. And it's been working really well. And yeah, I actually feel pretty good most of the time. Obviously everyone has off days. You can't, and that's another thing. You just have to forgive yourself if you have a bad day. Like, it's not like whenever I do have a bad day, I'm not like, I'm depressed again. Cause it's like,
Yeah.
depression, if when you have clinical depression or any kind of mental illness that you kind of have under control, you're going to slip back. It's always a battle. You always have to keep it like at bay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have my days, but that doesn't mean that I'm back to my old self where I was constantly feeling depressed every single day and like in a hole. Like, I'm not going to go back to that because I'm constantly working to get myself out of it, if that makes sense. So
Yeah, no, that's so true. I feel the same way about it. And especially with therapy, like you have to like not only like be the one kind of like, oh, I want to get help, I want to like feel better, but you also need to like trust and like the person you're talking to. And I feel like that's a struggle that like me, like when I first went, I didn't like who I was talking to, but then like when I found someone, it became so much more beneficial for me because I felt like I could open up and talk about my problems, you know? So I totally understand what you mean there.
I've gone to like 9 different therapists in my life. So it takes a minute. And it also is just like being able to be comfortable with a random person it's hard. It's
Yeah.
really hard. But then you have to realize like they can't legally tell anyone anything you're saying.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. It's like an echo chamber. It's like you're talking to yourself,
Yeah.
and they just can give you like a little bit of advice here and there. So, and for me, it's like I was tired of having to rant to my friends all the time about my problems, which I still kind of do a little bit, but it's nice to just let it out and talk to someone, because for me, I don't even necessarily need her to like give me advice. It's more just like, this is what's happening and I'm letting it all out. And you kind of come to your own conclusions when you talk about stuff out loud. Like I'll talk about something that happened and be like, maybe it happened because of this and this and this. And then I'll like make the connections just because I'm sitting there talking to someone. She's like, mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you journal? Because I know, obviously, I'm sure you like write like songs and poems in your notes or anything, but do you like write out like how you're feeling, like just journaling?
I've gone through phases where I did that, and then I just feel like I'm never consistent with it
Yeah.
because it just kind of, when I feel like doing it, I'll do it. But
Yeah.
I'm also a really big notes app user. Like, I don't, even when I write songs, like everything's in my notes. I don't like write anything down. So I have like almost like a journal like section of my iPhone notes where I'll write random things, like whether it's poems or just paragraphs about things I'm thinking or feeling or ideas, random things. So I have that, but I don't necessarily like do it every night or do it religiously. It's just kind of whenever something's happening up there.
Yeah. That's kind of how I feel. Like I definitely write, I journal like when I'm like feeling bad about something, but I'm never consistent. Like I remember I tried to like journal daily in 2020, like that was like a resolution of mine, and then like a week before the lockdown happened, I stopped, and I'm like, well, now I shouldn't even like try to start because it's all like nice stuff, and then it's like, oh, by the way, pandemic happened like the next time I write, and I'm like, that makes no sense. So I kind of
Yeah.
just give up because there's no use in me trying to regularly journal. But I use my notes app to like, I document like my dreams in there because I just like writing down.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, even though I'm like
Yeah. I need to do that. I have some great dreams.
yeah, even though like I'll write them when I'm like half asleep and then wake up and I'll be like, this is completely incoherent. I have no idea what I was trying to say. But
That's crazy.
what has been inspiring you lately?
Not much. Honestly, not much. It's been a struggle for me to write this year. One of my friends just went through a breakup, and I actually wrote a song about her. And that was cool. That was a different experience for me because I usually only write about myself because it's just what I know.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to, take inspiration from other things, which is what people have been telling me to do all my life. Because I'm always like, no, I need to destroy my life so I can write about it. And they're like, no, you can write about other people. I'm like, okay, maybe. So I've been trying to just put less pressure on myself because I feel like because I was always so like writing's my therapy and like I do this for like all the kids that feel like how I do, and that was always my mindset about it. But I don't have to be doing that. Like I can take inspiration from other people and from other things and still have the same effect and still, kind of pertain it to my life.
Yeah.
So I'm working on that just to kind of gain more inspiration because my life is boring. I don't really do anything. So I watch a lot of TV and a lot of TikTok.
Yeah. My mom just got like addicted to TikTok. Like she thinks that she's like a genius, or not like a genius, but she thinks she's like innovative for like getting addicted.
I love parents on TikTok. I love it.
And I'm like, and
I love it.
it's just, it's hilarious to me because like her For You page is like craft ideas or like gift ideas for the fan. Like it's like such wholesome stuff. And then like I go on my TikTok page and it's like people screaming, like it's like chaotic
Yeah.
TikToks. Like
Yeah.
the energy is like meant to be chaotic. And then like that's all I get. Or like weirdly, I almost tweeted this the other day, but I was like, no one cares. But that like my TikTok For You page thinks I like live in Oregon and grow shrooms, like because everything that I get on TikTok is like how to dehydrate your shrooms, and I'm like, when did I?
I've
Even-"
seen a couple of those. I've seen a couple of those too.
I'm like,
I'm on like astrology TikTok and like tarot cards
yeah,
and like
yeah,
crystals, and then also like really weird videos where like I don't know what's happening, but it's really hilarious.
yeah, that.
Or like, remember that time when everyone was like, "Oh, TikTok," and then there was like, and then they like, there was this weird side of TikTok where it was all like deep fried, and then there was like beans for some reason,
Yeah.
and then like,
Oh
raw,
my god, yeah.
and then there was like department store, and like none of it made sense. But that was my entire For You page, and I was just
Same.
like, I like, is this funny or are you just telling me that it's funny? And so I'm like, that was the weirdest time in TikTok. But yeah, I now like, and also all my friends always send me TikTok, so I always see this stuff on theirs, and it's so funny to compare like the different kind of things that we get.
Yeah. I don't like the one guy that comes to my head all the time, like who he really describes my TikTok For You page, but Mud Consumer. I don't know if you've seen any of his videos, but it's just him like I don't know how to describe his voice, but like he has a very specific style. And like I'll send one to you, but like it's just I feel like I see him every time I open the app. And I'm not mad because he's funny, but like it was just strange. I showed my mom like my For You page and she was like, that's scary. Like I'm like, it's not my
Yeah.
fault. Oh, I like this question. What is the funniest or craziest thing that has happened to you on stage?
Ooh,
Either like from the crowd or like to you. Like
I don't know. I don't know. Nothing like super really crazy happens at my shows, I feel like.
yeah.
Sometimes people will hold up like their phones and like write something, like have a funny message on it. Um like, and I'll like look at it and try to like not laugh while I'm singing
Yeah.
because I look out and it's hard to see people's faces, but like when they have little screens up, I'll see it and it's like the only thing you can see, and I'm like, oh my god.
Mhm.
But I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I was trying to think if anything happened at like the ones that I've been to, but I don't think so. I think everyone's just like happy to be there, you know? Like,
Everyone's pretty chill. No one's like doing anything crazy. There's no like moshing. I mean, how would you mosh to an Olivia O'Brien song? I don't really know.
yeah,
But maybe to Jocelyn. I think we can figure that
true. When we
out. Actually, I liked when I on my last tour before it got sadly postponed
yes.
indefinitely. Um, I for Jocelyn, I bought all these like blow up sex dolls.
Yes.
I don't know if they had any actual holes, but they were like these like girl like blow up dolls, and I would like sign them and then throw them out into the crowd. And I was like, the intention was for people to like keep throwing them around for the whole song, but then like people would just take them. Like
Yeah.
they would go out into the crowd and then they would quickly just go be hidden because someone would take it. And I was like, this isn't working how I wanted it to work, but it was still cool to throw them out. So
Yeah. That's funny though. I think they might have. I mean, I don't know where you bought them, but I'm sure they did. I wonder if anyone took them home and like used them, but
okay, I don't know.
that's what I think. I'm like my head immediately went there. I was like, um oh yeah, okay. And then I thought, what is the craziest or funniest thing that's happened to you during quarantine? So if anything has happened then.
um my life has literally been so boring. You don't even understand. It's so boring.
I don't
Um
think of anything either for myself.
there was a phase in like the very beginning where when I still lived with Drew, where we like just were going fully insane and we would just like get drunk together randomly and we would watch old like early 2000s reality shows, and we were just so mentally unstable. It was the craziest thing ever. And there was a time one night we just put wigs on and we're like taking videos of us like twerking and like being crazy. And I think we like posted them on our stories and we found them the other day. I don't know if we were looking at like our archives on Instagram or like our camera roll, and we were just like, oh no, maybe like a fan account posted or something. We saw
Oh,
somehow we came across them and we were like, what were we on in the beginning of quarantine? We were like so not well. We were so not, it felt like the apocalypse. Everyone was so scared and we were just losing our minds, like for real.
yeah. Well, and now it's like, oh, we're used to it. Like we're doing the same things, but we're just used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing I did during quarantine, like when I thought it was only going to be a month, I was like, oh, I'll use this time to like binge a show I've always wanted to watch. And so I watched Sons of Anarchy in like 3 weeks, and it's like 90 hours of show. So I had like a full-time job of watching the show.
Oh
And
my
I was
God.
literally obsessed. Like I would stay up until like 5 in the morning, like just like episode after episode, and I was obsessed. And now I'm like, should I watch it again? I'm like, no, it's too much for me. I apparently can't handle it because that was quite the 3 weeks. So
Yeah. I wish I had never watched Game of Thrones because that would be like a perfect thing to binge because it's
yeah.
so fun.
Well, if you're looking for like a drama filled show with like a great story, great characters, Sons of Anarchy is a good one if you haven't seen it.
I'll watch.
Um, I recommend it to everyone because it's literally my favorite show. And I watched all of Game of Thrones, love Game of Thrones. I love Breaking Bad. Like if you like those shows, you'll like this one. Um, oh, what's your favorite TV show at the moment? That was the next question.
Um, I lately, just because of how serious the world has been, I've been like finding a lot of comfort in like old stupid shows I used to watch as a kid. Like I watched like iCarly, I watched everything that was like on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
And now I'm rewatching Awkward, which is just like my comfort show from like when I was like 14,
Yeah.
like 13, 14, which I I'm just obsessed with it. So I'm rewatching it and it's great.
Where are you rewatching that? Because I tried to like, I think they took it off of Hulu. That's where I
It's
was.
on Amazon Prime. Mhm.
I will be watching.
Free on there because a lot of stuff on Amazon Prime, I'll be like, oh, it's on here, and then it's like buy an episode for $3. Which, by the way, I bought like pretty much all of iCarly, which is so embarrassing.
Oh, I would do it too. I've been trying to rewatch that as well. And I don't know if you've seen Freaks and Geeks. It was on
I
Netflix.
haven't, but I actually want to because everyone was like, it's one of those. Also, another show that's like that I haven't seen is Skins, and that everyone's
Oh,
obsessed with. And
yeah.
I'm like, where was I in high school when everyone was watching these? Like, what was I doing?
No, like what was the one we were talking about before?
Awkward? Oh, what?
Freaks and
Freaky.
Geeks, sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was on Netflix for like years, and I
Oh
would
my
watch it
God.
every year because I was obsessed with it. It's like a mini series, and so it was like, oh, I watch it like in the fall, and then don't watch it again until next fall. But they took it off, and I'm so
Yeah.
mad because it's not on any streaming service. You have to like buy it, and I'm like, I mean, I will, but I'm sad about it. But you should watch that too because it's
Okay.
totally like I would think up your alley.
I've been meaning to. I literally have like a list on my phone and it's like the number one thing in there. So I will watch.
Yeah, and then Skins, that one's coming back big time because that was the one.
Everyone talks about it on TikTok too.
Yeah, exactly. It's on TikTok everywhere. So I'm like, oh, the next generation will understand the impact that Effie Stoneham had. I see. Yes. Because that was like one of those shows that I would reblog on Tumblr all the time. And like that, it was just like such a staple of like alt Tumblr that era. And now like that TikTok's kind of reviving that a little bit. Like it's coming back big time. And I'm happy because it's a great show, but it is just it gave so many kids nicotine addictions. I just know it. Like, because they just made everything bad look cool. So, I mean,
That's how all of those shows are though. Like I always watch things back and I'm like, how was I watching this as like a little 13-year-old? Like
yeah,
it's so
yeah.
good.
But I think that one's on Netflix, so you should
Okay,
watch.
cool. I will.
Okay, and then final fan question. What is your favorite song in your discography?
Ooh. Um, I don't know.
I'm
I
sure,
really like,
but
wait, what?
I'm sure it changes, but currently.
It does, but I mean, I have like an emotional attachment to pretty much all of my songs because like obviously I wrote them, so they like mean something to me. But I really like Almost in Love and Sad Songs in the Summer. Like I feel like those songs because I wasn't really thinking about anyone else when I wrote that. Like I wasn't thinking like, oh, this has to be a pop song. Like kind of went for my more like I don't want to say like alternative because obviously my music is not alternative, but like that was more of my inspiration for it. So
Yeah.
I feel like it's more of like a vibe when I put those songs on and like they make me like feel a way that my other songs kind of don't. Also, We Lied to Each Other. I wrote that one like with no. I mean, it was me and this producer writer Teddy Geiger, and it was just us in the room, and she was like doing her thing, and I pretty much wrote all the lyrics for myself, which just makes it more special to me. So I like that song a lot too.
Yeah. All great ones. I was like obsessed with Sad Songs in the Summer, like when I heard that. And Almost in Love too. Like those songs were so good. And I love the micro mixtapes. Love them. Okay, and then I'll ask like a couple of my questions. So one of them was, how do you think being in LA in the LA social scene has affected you personally or as an artist? And do you feel that there's social pressure? Do you find your career taking a back seat to maybe like feeling like an influencer, that kind of thing?
Um, it kind of goes back and forth for me because sometimes I'm like, I don't ever want to post photos of myself again because I want to be taken seriously as an artist. And it's like, it's literally just because of the way I look at the people that I'm friends with that people would get that impression of me. And like, I can post whatever I want on social media. Like, I stopped caring if people think of me that way anymore because it's like, if they want to figure out who I am, they can Google me.
Yeah.
Have a pretty established music career, so I'm not gonna like not post what I want to post because I feel like people are gonna think I'm an Instagram model. Like that's something I just shouldn't even really care about. But at first, when I moved out to LA, it was really hard, and I didn't feel like I fit in here at all, and it caused a lot of um, just insecurity, and it was really bad for my mental health. But as I kind of got more of an established friend group, and I have like my friend group is so tight and so close, and there's a lot of us. There's like 9 of us in our like in my like daily like best friend group chat. There's like 9 of us, so we have like a big happy family, and I love all of my friends so much. Um, and yeah, I don't know. I feel like I don't even care about being in the social scene anymore. I just kind of like am accidentally in it. And now that I'm a lot more confident in myself and just doing better mentally, I'm able to be like, okay, I don't care if I fit in. And then as soon as I had that mentality, then I felt like I actually did fit in. But
Yeah.
also it's like, I don't care. Like, I just don't care. I think part of it and part of just like being here and being around models all the time and all these hot people and these famous people, it's like, you literally just have to not care and you're fine. Because if you care, you're going to get hurt. You're going to get yourself into some trouble. So yeah, I just think I just I'm friends with my friends and we do what we do and whatever.
Love that. We love not caring anymore. Like once you get to that point, it's like so freeing. Like being like, oh, I can just do whatever I want and like not worry
Wear
about.
whatever I want, look however I want, cut my own bangs.
Yep, yep. I love that. Okay. Do you ever find your creative freedom compromised as a signed artist?
Yes and no. It's like no one's ever out here telling me, oh, well, I'm like, sometimes they'll be like, we need a pop hit. But I don't like, I'm not like gonna take that to heart or anything. It's like they're trying to make money. Like obviously
Yeah.
I get it. And when they make money, then they have more money to give me. So cool, more budget. But I I think if anyone's putting the pressure, it's more me because I don't want to like let anyone down. It's more something that I just feel, and it's just the way that I am. Is like, oh, I need to be doing this. I need to be doing that. It comes more from my own thing. So it's on and off. Sometimes they'll say some things, and then other times, and also a lot of times I'll make a song that I don't think they're gonna like. That's like more slow and sad or whatever, and then I'll send it to them and be like, I know you're not gonna like this or whatever, and then they'll be like, we love it. So that's what I've realized is like I can just kind of do whatever I want, and if they like it, they like it. If they don't like it, they don't like it. And sometimes I'll write a pop song, sometimes I'll write a sad song, sometimes I'll write whatever. So
Love that. Well, yeah, and that is weird because you'd think that like your label would be more leaning towards like the pop songs, but like if they actually like your ballads, I'm sure that that's like exciting for you when they're
yeah,
like, "Oh, I we actually really like this," and you're like, "Oh, okay." Like, but that's true. Like "Hate You, Love You," I think about that one. That one's not a like a pop, an upbeat pop song, so you're not limited in that way. Um, Okay, and last question for me. I often get annoyed on behalf of you because some of the dumb accusatory questions that you get on social media. What is a question that really makes you roll your eyes that you get a lot?
well, I mean, the whole with now, the whole Akon sampling thing, I'm
Yeah,
like,
that's the one that made me write the question.
like every like so many songs are samples or interpolations or like remixes that you don't even realize are because maybe the song is less popular. It's just like everyone knows that Akon song, so everyone's like, oh my god, like, is this like a less popular interpolation would be like. I literally didn't even know this until I was listening to old Imogen Heap, and I was like, "Good Night and Go" by Ariana Grande is literally an
Yep,
Imogen Heap song. But
yep,
like, and nobody even knows that because that song is way less popular. I literally found that out like a week ago, which is so crazy. But there are so many songs like that that you don't even might not even realize are interpolations, and that doesn't mean that the person who sang that song is not creative. Like that, the Ariana version and the Imogen Heap version are completely different songs. She still
yeah,
had to get creative and figure out a way to like redo it. And with now, it's like all the verses are different, the melodies are different, the production is different, and everything is different except for that one hook melody. And I even copied the cover art so people would know like it's an ode
yeah,
to Akon. Like I'm signed to a major label. They would never let me put something out that was a copy of something unless we got it all cleared. Like people just do not use their brains. They're like, you're trying to get away. I'm like, how would I get away with copying one of the biggest songs ever? Like that song is huge. Everyone knows that song. Like how do you like am I do people think I'm that stupid where I'd be like, nobody's gonna know that I copied Akon? Like, oh my God. I just can't believe it. It blows my mind every time. And still, to this day, every time I post anything about that song, I get comments, this sounds familiar with this emoji. I'm like,
and you're
yes,
like,
it does. Thank
yeah.
you. Thank you so much for understanding the entire point of the song. Thank you.
And it's called now. Like it's not like
Like, what? Literally what?
that literally that made me write the question because I had been seeing it so much. Like I saw it a lot. I was like, guys, like, are we not familiar at this point with like what sampling is?
Yeah, it's the most frustrating thing in the entire world. And no matter how much I talk about it, no matter how many TikTok jokes I make about it, no matter how many comments I reply to, there those people are the ones that are just like, because there's always going to be new people seeing it, right? Like
Yeah.
I can say whatever I want to the first 20 people that say something, and then it's going to go and be in someone else's recommended, then they're going to see it and comment the same thing. I can't physically go and reply to every single person that thinks that and tell them. So I've
I
just
feel
given
like you
up.
get it the most though, because I'm like, there's every song is like sampled in some way or another at this point. Like there's so many,
So
and I
many.
feel like you're just getting it
I
more.
don't understand. I don't get it. Like, not to be like, I'm a victim, but like, why? Why me?
You're like, why do I have to do? And like the thing is, it's most funny because like you literally like did an interpretation of the artwork too. Like it's
I
not like
know.
you were like, oh, I'm not going to like acknowledge that this sounds like the Akon song. Like you literally did. Like, oh my god. Anyway, see, I'm already getting annoyed again. Like,
I know. It's literally the most annoying thing in the entire world. So
yeah. And that is
whatever.
not the first question that you've gotten that I feel like you've gotten a million times. I'm like, why is it always Olivia? I feel bad. Like
You know what? It's fine. Everything's fine.
so yeah, that's all my questions. If you have any questions about fan culture or anything, feel free to ask. If you don't have any, that's perfectly fine. But if you have any about like for me or like about me going to school for music business, anything like that, feel free.
Hmm. I mean, I don't really have any questions about fan culture just because I was one of y'all.
Yes.
I was one for a very long time. And I still kind of am. Like, I stand Megan Thee Stallion. I love everything that that woman does. She can just like sit down and I'll be like, yes, oh my God, that was perfect.
Debut
So,
album arriving. Debut album, I cannot wait.
oh yeah, I can't, she never stops working. She just always has stuff for us. I'm like,
Yeah,
please, thank you. Keep feeding
constantly
us.
giving us.
Um, ooh. I mean, what kind of stuff do you learn in school about the music industry? Like, what do they cover? What do they teach you?
So, the class that I may or may not have skipped to record this,
What?
um, I'm learning about like entrepreneurship in the music
Okay.
industry, and like I also have to learn like music publishing stuff and like all
Important.
yeah, but boring.
I know, I know. When I didn't know anything when I started, and it's like so much, and people like the general public, like obviously as you have, even just you listen to music like in a different way than I feel like the general public, just because you're actually like really interested in it. So like someone like you would, you know, about sampling and all the stuff we just talked about, like even without probably all the education, but it's like these people have no knowledge of how much, and I'm sure you're learning even more every day, like
Yeah,
how much into it and how all the stupid little things. Because when I first came into the industry, I was like, what? I have to have a publisher and a label and a whatever. What is this? What is happening?
yeah.
And then I had to figure out what all of it meant. So like, it's cool that you get to like actually. You're probably gonna end up knowing way more than I am about everything.
Well, I mean, okay, so like my favorite, I'm on like the business side of my program. They have like a tech side and a business side. Obviously, the tech people are people who want to like produce or do live sound or anything like that. But for the business side, it's more like, oh, I don't want to be an artist, but I want to do like, the industry stuff. And so my favorite classes that I've taken are like artist services, where we're just learning about like the different things that artists have to need help with, like their team and everything. And then oh, I had like a PR in the music industry class. Loved that class. I just like marketing, promotion, like public relations, that kind of thing. Find that very interesting because I like the idea of building a demographic, building a fan base. That's very interesting to me. Probably because I was said demographic for probably many people, but
You have
um
the inside scoop on all of that.
yeah, but I think that's why I also get so annoyed when it comes to like people having no understanding of that. And I need to like understand that they're not going to school for what I'm going for. So they wouldn't know, but it gets me pretty annoyed. Like it just makes me roll my eyes because I'm like, guys, come on. Like they're asking the dumbest questions to artists. I see it all the time. And I feel bad for the artists because they have to like get it. I'm like, it's not like they have
Yeah,
to
but it's like
but
you just have to remind yourself, like I just said, like people they just don't have the knowledge of the music industry, and like why should they? You know, they
yeah.
don't. They have no reason to. So it's like I almost can't be mad. I'm like, do you know what a sample is? And they're like, no. I'm like,
Yeah. It's only us that get mad because we're like, "What? You mean this isn't your whole life? Like, you
yeah,
don't care about this
literally.
as much as I do?" Like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's really what it is. But yeah, so I like the business side classes. Like, I have business and music, I have touring and concert promotion, those kinds of things. But then I had to take classes like intro to performance, and I'm like, I'm not an artist, so why am I here
But that's
performing?
cool though. That's cool though, because then like if say you were to like maybe manage someone in the future and they were like having you just have the knowledge to like help
Yeah,
them out. you said it. That's important. I mean, I know you're probably like, ew,
I was like, it was not for me.
but you're gonna be happy. You're gonna be happy later on that you did that though, because like you never know when those little skills are gonna come in handy, especially in this industry. Like people also often like switch between different things. Like people can be like going from an A&R to being a manager to being like working for an agency. I don't know. Like a lot of things are kind of interchangeable. And the more knowledge and education you have on the thing as a whole, it's like it's gonna be really good for you.
Very true. I'm excited to graduate, even if it is into not the best time for the music industry, but I'm excited.
Don't get me started on that.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, I have a couple more months. We can see where things go. But yeah, so I love the program that I'm in, and obviously doing a project like this is really rewarding because it enables me to talk to the like friends or the artists that I've met over the years because of music and kind of bring it into like my education, because this is like my final project for my school.
Yeah.
So it's exciting for me. And I like doing things where I have like that creative freedom to kind of apply it in the way that I want to apply it. So it's exciting. But yeah, that's
I'm
me.
excited for you. I
Yeah.
love that you're like so passionate about it, because a lot of people don't get to do what they love. So it's really cool that you get to do that and get to study that.
Yeah, no, I feel really grateful that I found like I'm like 40 minutes from my school. I live at home right now. I'm not like living on campus, but when I was, it felt like really crazy that I found like a program so perfect for me, so close to home, because it's not like New Jersey's like a hub for
Yeah.
music. And it's not like we were right outside of the city. Like, so it was, it would be like go to NYU or Drexel, like one of these schools that have like established programs. But the friends that I have that go to those schools, like they don't seem as thrilled with the program as like I do, because it's obviously different. But I'm like, I feel grateful that I found a program so perfect for me. And it's kept me interested, even though there have been many times where I'm like, college ain't for me, I'm leaving. Like, but I didn't. So I'm glad I stuck with it now, but it's definitely not like fun all the time, but it's not because of my program. It's just like college,
I mean,
you know,
well,
but but yeah, I can safely say that I feel ready to enter the music industry. Yeah.
hell
So
yeah. That's
um
awesome.
yeah, so then I guess we'll say like our current favorites. I like to do a segment at the end where I have you say like you just shout out like your favorite like song, artist, album right now that you've been listening to, just as kind of a way to like share music with the audience.
I'm gonna pull up my Spotify really quick.
Yeah, I think my
Um,
favorite. Let's see. I have to look at mine too.
I've been really loving Giveon lately.
Hmm.
Um, so dope. Who else? This girl Faye Webster.
Mm,
I only know a couple songs by her, but she's so
yeah,
good.
the voice is so.
TV Girl. There's also this one song. I think the guy. Let me see. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, this guy only has one song out. I'm like, who are you? It's called Naked by Bickle,
Mm,
and it's such a good song. I listen to it like every day, and I'm like, who is this person? He has no other songs out.
I'll have to
No
look.
clue.
Yeah,
Also, oh wait, where are
I
you
don't
going?
go.
Sorry.
I,
There's also um this song that I found on TikTok. Where is it?
I think I was that the one on your story.
Yes,
Yeah, I
Melody
listened.
by Plus Two. It is so good. It makes me so happy. I literally am obsessed with it. And it's from 1983.
Oh
And,
yeah, I remember. I was like, "Whoa, this is like an
and
old
it's
song."
just blowing up on TikTok. I'm like, like, that's so crazy the way that the world works. Like, who would have thought? Like, nobody could have ever known in 1983 that the song was going to blow up on a weird, like, app in
Yeah,
2020. It's pretty cool. But
yeah.
it's dope. All right.
Especially
Sorry
like
for interrupting you.
bringing back all these like older songs, like like Fleetwood Mac, like came back for no reason. Not like no reason, but it was just like crazy that like 40 years later, like these songs are coming back. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the songs that I'm listening to right now, I mean, I mentioned Baby Queen like every episode, but like I'm literally obsessed with this artist Baby Queen. She's like a UK pop girly, and she just released like her EP Medicine, and I think she's like doing a virtual tour with Youngblood right now. She's super cool. I love all of her songs. She has great hooks, which I think
Looking
you.
at her right now.
Yeah. Oh,
I will check her out.
you'd like her, especially like she has a song called like Internet Religion and like Pretty Girl Lie, which are about like social media and like how it affects your like mental health and like your image of yourself. It's so good. It's such like like satirical writing. I think you'll love it. So
I love that. I'm
yeah,
excited. I'll
she's
listen to
great.
this.
And then like I mean, not as like a song, but I read all of Halsey's poetry book like in one sitting.
Oh, I want to read
Yeah,
that.
it's so good.
It was good?
Yeah, it was really like it was really personal, and I like wasn't expecting it to be as personal as it is because I'm like a very big Halsey fan. Like I love her, and so I like went the day it came out to Target and like grabbed the book and read it all in one sitting, and I was like, whoa, I feel like I know more about her than I know about myself because it was
Yeah.
like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was really good. I think you'd like it too. And it's different, obviously, from her music because it's more, you know, free form, which I kind of like because I'm a poetry fan. So love that too. If I would leave me if I could, if y'all haven't purchased it on the bookshelves of whatever store, go buy it. But yeah, that being said, that's pretty much everything. I'm going to plug Olivia now because you should be streaming her music. Stream now the Akon ripoff. um, the results of my poor judgment. Was it even real? And the rest of her discography. Um, you should be listening to all of it. It's immaculate. And you can follow Olivia on
Thank you.
Instagram. Would you like to plug all your social medias? You're at Liv on TikTok, aren't you?
No, that's just my name. That's just like my name,
Oh,
but it
I
like
thought it was
comes.
like I thought you got like the at Liv. I was like,
I wish. I wish. No,
queenery.
but it like pops up. It like I think you can when you tag people, it can, sometimes can show up as that. I don't know.
Oh,
I don't
gotcha.
know how it works, but like it's just my name. But it's Olivia G O'Brien, I think. I actually don't know. My Twitter is Olivia G O'Brien. My Instagram is Olivia O'Brien, and then yeah, my TikTok is Olivia G O'Brien.
Yes. Go follow her TikTok. She's hilarious. Follow her everywhere, whatever. Like my mom literally follows you on Instagram and she'll like see your post and be like, "Wow, she looks terrible." Like sarcastic cuz like you look amazing in every
I
picture.
was like, oh my
No,
god.
no, no. She would never say that. Oh my God, she's gonna be like, "How dare you say that like about me?" But no, she's like, "Wow, could she look any worse?" Like sarcastically because you look amazing. And then she'll be like, it
Oh,
she's like, "It must be hard for her to look this good like every day." But she
sweet.
loves you too. Like she's a big fan.
I said hey and thank you.
I will. So, yeah, with all that being said, this has been an episode of Both Sides of the Barricade. You can follow us on Instagram at Both Sides of the Barricade, on Twitter at BSOTB Pod, the acronym, and then pod. And you can subscribe on YouTube at Both Sides of the Barricade. My Instagram and Twitter are JTaylorLDR. This episode is available on Spotify and iTunes. You can watch it on YouTube. You can follow, subscribe, like, download, rate, comment, all of that. I love reading comments. I love reading ratings. Please leave me something. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you, Olivia, for being on. I really appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed it. And with that being said, see you next week. Bye.